Oh boy, get your bibs on, get your funnels in your mouths, retch your jaws open because it's time to eat some chud slop, folks. Aren't you excited? Not just any chud slop, by the way, but Synthetic Man. A guy who I recently watched a big documentary breakdown on and found out is like a massive fucking loser. He's an incel for starters, but also he's like a massive self-hating, neat basement dweller. He's a complete fucking loser. He is the classic 4chan Nazi that you imagine. Like every stereotype combined into one person, and you get Synthetic Man. He is genuinely one of the most pathetic people on the internet. I almost get why he is the way he is. I kind of don't judge as much as I would someone else. And I'm sure I'm wrong to think that way, but it's just how I feel. Because this guy is genuinely a massive loser. It wouldn't make sense for him to have any other beliefs than the ones he has. Dead Domain really destroyed him with their essay. I think that might have been the video I saw, to tell you the truth. Anyway, folks, Synthetic Man put out a new video a day ago called Amazon's Fallout. Season 2 will destroy everything you love. Well, that surely couldn't be an exaggeration in the title at all. Maybe I should start titling my videos like that. Apparently that's what gets clicks these days in the political space. For those that don't know, they just dropped the trailer for Fallout Season 2. It looks good as fuck, spoiler alert. It's going to take place in New Vegas. You're going to see that a lot in this upcoming video. There's Deathclaws. There's the Lucky 38. Mr. House is there. It's awesome. It's going to go hard. I can't wait. We've been waiting for this ever since the ending of Season 1. So how exactly did this trailer that basically just got everyone hyped for exactly what we were all excited for since the end of Season 1, how is that proof that this show will destroy everything we love? Also notice Amazon's Fallout. I can't help but notice that they're doing the same thing they do with Rings of Power. They rarely actually call Rings of Power Rings of Power. They call it Amazon's Lord of the Rings. I feel like because a lot of them recognize that most people who might check out the show haven't read the books and don't know much about the books. And so it's kind of like a subtle gaslighting technique to convince people that Rings of Power is supposed to be a remake of the Lord of the Rings movies, when that's not what it is. I don't know, I just get that vibe. Regardless, I see he's doing that same kind of naming structure for it, because there has to be a target, a group to hate. Amazon, woke Amazon. Let's see what he's blabbing on about, though. Come on, guys, wrench open your jaws. It's time for Chud Slop.
Guys, the Fallout TV show is returning. You know, the greatest video game adaptation of all time. It has a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. All your favorite shield creators like Moist Critical love it. I was a huge fan.
If you like anything popular, you're a shill to these people, by the way. Mind you, shill implies you're being paid to promote a thing, but of course, these people have literally been proven to get paid by Russia to promote Donald Trump, so it's like, I don't know, like, who's paying them to shill for Fallout? Is Moist Critical getting paid to shill for Fallout? I don't think so.
And when they improved the lore of the original games, when they made ghouls have to take a serum to stay sane, and they're so rare that someone can call themselves the ghoul, and they'll know who you're talking about.
No. For one, the serum thing is just neat world building for a TV show. Like, I don't know, like, it feels like ghouls just being immortal and that's it. Doesn't really, like, that's not really good storytelling for a show. For games, it works, because, listen, let's be real, guys. Video games, especially video games whose worlds were developed in the early ages of video games, this is a time when storytelling in games was an afterthought and gameplay was first and foremost. I'm not saying these were bad stories, but if you're going to refine it and make it into a television show that's going to introduce a broad audience, an audience who's never heard what Fallout is or what a ghoul is in this context, it's probably best to refine some of the blaring plot holes in the story when you're going to adapt it. Literally no Fallout fans complained about the idea of ghouls having to occasionally take Radaway to keep themselves from going feral, because frankly, The explanation for why or how ghouls go feral has never been clear. There have been tons of contradictory cases of ghouls that should have gone feral, not going feral, ghouls that shouldn't have gone feral, going feral, ghouls that just never go feral for presumably no reason, unexplainably. The show is given an actual tangible reason to feral ghouls, and I appreciate it. You don't have to like that change, but does this ruin the show? Christ almighty. Talk about nitpicking. Are we watching CinemaSins now?
Oh, and we can't forget the second most popular faction after the Brotherhood of Steel, the NCR, getting nuked into oblivion off screen. I was a huge fan of that.
How do you know that the NCR is gone? Like, we're going to New Vegas next season. The Legion is in the next season. Do you really think the NCR is gone for good? I may be wrong. I'm a big NCR fan, so the way I saw it was like, oh, cool, the NCR is, like, still around. Like, this is hundreds of years later. Also, no, I'm not getting into an argument about New Vegas stuff, but famously, when you play through New Vegas, the NCR is losing on every front. Everything you do, the reason why you're constantly helping the NCR is because they can't handle their own shit. They're spread too thin, and they're failing in the Mojave Wasteland. Everybody thinks that the NCR should just recall all their troops back to California, but they don't. They keep expanding, and it ends up clearly being the near death of them. Who knows if the NCR is still around in Season 2? I think they probably will be, most likely having a presence in New Vegas itself. We don't know what ending yet for New Vegas they're going to go with being canon, but we'll have to watch and see. Mind you, a lot of these grifters rely heavily on, like, nonsense critiques that don't matter to one's enjoyment of a story, and on top of that, like, how does he know this next season's going to be bad when all we have is a trailer? This is their repeated strategy of like, yes, I can predict when a piece of media is going to be bad. I just needed to see a trailer. And then if it does do well, they'll never talk about it again. Unless there's a season 2 where they'll try to do the whole thing over, hoping that he is hoping this next season ends up being actually bad, so that people get mad and boycott the show and end up supporting his narrative because they're so pissed off about the direction the show goes. He is hoping, praying that this next season of the show ends up being bad.
I loved it when the goofy black guy did the stupid thing, or the quirky, naive...
Literally nobody read the show this way. Stop fucking around. This is Reddit. This is below Reddit tier criticism. This is below CinemaSins tier criticism. You're the one calling him the dumb black guy. Like, what are you doing?
If bug-eyed girl did the other stupid thing, Fallout is so much like Borderlands.
What are you talking about? Do people who play Fallout watch this guy? Also, yeah, Borderlands and Fallout are pretty similar. Also, is this Borderlands-y? This is as Fallout-y as it gets.
Lands, guys. You know, things being dark and edgy, that's for 12-year-olds. We grown-ass men like mature themes such as cuckoldry and miscegenation and
Yeah. So for those that do not know, I was not exaggerating when I said Synthetic Man is a Nazi. We're 1 minute into the video, and yeah, he doesn't hide it. When I must emphasize, he does not hide it.
Mature themes such as cuckoldry and miscegenation and corporation bad? Couldn't have guessed that one. I never saw that one coming. Corporations are bad? That's such a unique theme.
I love how conservatives have to walk this fine line, right? Because if they criticize capitalism too hard, they might start to push their naive audiences into borderline class-conscious thought. So they can't go too far on criticizing capitalism and corporations. But to criticize the Jews, they kind of have to criticize capital and the system of capitalism by nature. So they have to walk this fine line where they simultaneously rail against Jews nonstop for using capitalism against the quote-unquote goyim, as they'll call them, or non-Jewish people. And then they'll like simultaneously have to keep from going too far because they can't accidentally make their audience class conscious. So he's like simultaneously like a Nazi who believes in the JQ but is criticizing a show for calling out the power that corporations have to silence anybody who knows things about them, and to keep narratives quiet and to make people believe what they want people to believe. It's like, how do you walk this tightrope as a grifter who pushes this worldview? It must take a lot of practice.
Oh, wait, how could I forget the most brilliant plot twist in cinematic history? No, it wasn't China or America that launched the first bomb and ended the world. No, it was Vault-Tec. Why would Vault-Tec possibly do this? To make more money. Yes, you're going to kill off...
Well, what? When in the show was it ever stated that was their goal? That was never stated to be the primary goal of starting the nuclear war. Okay, there is so many levels of fake Fallout fan here. It's hilarious. For one, Vault-Tec has been like suspect number one for who did the bombs, who fired the first nuke. In every Fallout game, there has been implied evidence that Vault-Tec has Vault-Tec brand nukes. Vault-Tec has Vault-Tec brand nuclear missile silos. Why the fuck does Vault-Tec have nukes and the means to launch them? Clearly, they were hinting at the idea for a long time, and the fan base for a decade plus now has picked up on it. Has picked up that it has been basically in front of us this whole time that Vault-Tec launched the nukes. Now, why would they have built the vaults and made them into social experiments that operate after the world ends exclusively, unless secretly this whole time, as has always been suggested, Vault-Tec as a entity still exists, has people running it who are gathering that data somehow and are using it for some means. People have theorized Vault-Tec is run by aliens. People have theorized it's something like the Institute. Like, there's been a million different theories as to what Vault-Tec actually is and why they wanted to bring about the apocalypse and do those tests and gather the data they did from the vaults and the experiments they ran in them. The goal was clearly not to make money, unless they planned to make a lot of money in the apocalypse, which, to be fair, is exactly what Mr. House did. So, just because Mr. House did that, though, that's his thing, okay? That's his thing, all right? Like, he's a rich guy. He owns Vegas, basically. That's his thing. He doesn't really own Vegas, but you know what I mean. Like, just because he was trying to make more money doesn't mean the entire Vault-Tec company's plan was to do so. Also, Robert House is not part of Vault-Tec. He's Robco.
Off 99.9% of your customer base and somehow make a profit. I did not make this up. That is an actual plot point in the show, and people say it...
You did... I like how he specifically said I did not make this up when he did in fact make it up.
Was good. They genuinely think the Fallout TV show is good. And you know, honestly...
Yes, the vast majority of people, Fallout fans and non-Fallout fans, believe the show is good. You have already indicated that the second you saw a mixed-race couple, you started getting mad. So we know what about the show actually pisses you off, and it's not the show's objective quality.
I shouldn't be the least bit surprised, because Redditors...
He's fucking mini-nuking the NCR for the Legion. Of course he is.
Ironically thought that Fallout was a critique of capitalism. No, not the main theme of the game that they tell you at the beginning of every game, that war never changes. No, that can't be the theme. That'd be stupid. It only took Tim Kaine himself, co-creator of the fucking series, to tell you supposedly media-literate morons that no, Fallout is not about capitalism. Let's just get to the trailer break.
Fallout's about a lot of things, but it's definitely about capitalism partially because, A, the show came out and clearly indicates that, yeah, there's some anti-capitalist commentary there. And on top of that, are you unfamiliar with the immense amounts of McCarthyist parody and satire in the game? Because the game franchise has always leaned into this idea that the McCarthyist era was silly and goofy and dark at the same time. Like, that has always been a theme. I have a feeling Tim Kaine either didn't say that, or if he did, who the fuck cares? He is not the one running the Fallout franchise anymore. So, who gives a fuck? I saw Tim's video. He stated that capitalism wasn't the main theme, more of a background theme. That is about what I would expect, yeah.
breakdown. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. I'm not the type of guy who's going to analyze every frame. Let's just talk about how this is going to kill the Fallout franchise for anyone who gives a single fuck, which I know is not most people. So, as you could easily guess, by the end of Season 1, Season 2 is going to take place in Vegas. And Vegas has been destroyed. Isn't that awesome? A major theme of the Fallout...
Wait, how do you know that? Yes, it does seem like, from what they've shown us, like Vegas has been destroyed, but we don't know that. It's just in a wrecked state. It's very possible it's still active. Why are you making assumptions about the show before we've seen it? Like, I would like to assume that I know what's going to happen in the next season because I'm a fan of the show. But the fact is, you can't necessarily assume that New Vegas isn't occupied. In fact, unfortunately, this might be a bit of a spoiler, so mute me for a second if you want to. We've had some leaked set footage that basically shows that New Vegas is not destroyed and empty, that it is full of people. So we kind of know he's wrong about this because of leaked set footage or leaked set photos. That yes, the people are still in New Vegas itself.
Games is Civilization.
In fact, the Securitrons are still there. We've seen that in some on-set footage. So it's implied that New Vegas will still be active in Season 2.
Rebuilding after the apocalypse, right? That is one of the most interesting parts of the franchise, is seeing how in this destroyed world full of horrific mutants, people still manage to rebuild. And at the time of Fallout New Vegas, at least, civilization was being restored to the wasteland. The NCR was basically its own country. New Vegas was in great condition, all things considered, because Mr. House knew about the war and shot down any nukes that would have...
This is actually a real critique that I'll agree with. I really prefer Fallout New Vegas's vibe over the vibe of almost every other Fallout game. The rest of them really lean into the post-apocalyptic type feel, but you could almost fool someone into believing New Vegas is not a post-apocalyptic game if you frame it in the right way and show them the right locations and scenes and stuff. Like, you could convince them it's a hunting game out in the Mojave Desert, right? Like, you could totally convince someone it's not post-apocalyptic because, it's a part of the country that didn't get hit that hard, and two, this is taking place far enough into the apocalypse that they're really leaning into this idea that, like he said, humanity's recovering. We have actual cities and like civilization. Like, we're getting to the point now where there are hotels and brothels and casinos and restaurants, and all the things that you kind of associate with the original world are kind of coming back, but with a post-apocalyptic twist. And New Vegas leans into that real hard. Like, it feels like a world recovering, less so than a world reeling. And I will agree, the Fallout show definitely did not give the world recovering vibe. And it takes place the furthest into the future that we've been in this setting. So that is one criticism I'll agree with. Not even close to a deal breaker for the show's quality, but I'll take the subjective position that I preferred that in New Vegas over more recent releases.
Have hit it, and I'm not going to go into great detail about this, but you get the point, right? So of course, naturally, Bethesda hates this. They want Fallout to be an eternal apocalypse that never recovers. All civilizations will be destroyed. People will live in mud huts forever. So despite the entire game of Fallout...
That's probably not true. Probably an exaggeration. Fallout under Bethesda has definitely pushed it. Like, we're talking like quite a few hundreds of years into this, and we're still like really fucked up. Like in a lot of areas, vegetation has struggled to grow back. I don't know if you've ever seen photos of Chernobyl, but it doesn't look like Fallout 4. Like, all the plant life is not dead and dried out into husks. It's actually quite verdant around Chernobyl. Like, the world should look more like Last of Us in these games than like Mad Max, right? But then again, Mad Max was one of the primary inspirations for Fallout. So the idea of keeping to that, like, not eternal, but really long-lasting, like, wasteland vibe. Like, these games are about exploring a wasteland. So if you get rid of the wasteland, I mean, like, any more civilized than Fallout New Vegas, and we're not playing a Fallout game anymore. Or, like what are we even playing at that point? Though I do think that at some point, Bethesda needs to put their foot down and say, okay, yeah, no more big, like, society setting back events. Like, humanity is going to make a pretty steady growth spurt towards recovery, and future games will just take place at different points in the timeline in different locations, and we'll have like the 1,000-year stint of post-apocalypse. I think that's reasonable. Adventure Time did it. 1,000 years of like wasteland until it becomes like a verdant fantasy land. They could pull it off. They could explain that away, I guess. It's also worth noting that everything, including fucking alarm clocks, use nuclear batteries. Yeah.
Fallout New Vegas being about who's going to rule over Vegas using the Hoover Dam to power their new empire. Well, it was all meaningless. So, yeah, isn't that great?
Why are you assuming this? Like, you might be right, but you have absolutely no evidence to go off of for that, other than, from what I'm gathering, the the credits of the final episode of season 1, which seemed to indicate that New Vegas was in a ruined state, and like one shot of New Vegas from the trailer where it looks kind of fucked up from a distance. Also, we're not seeing it at night in that photo, so who knows whether or not it's lit up at night. I don't know. He could be right, but there's a lot of assumptions being made about the state of New Vegas. Also, I have faith in a show that was able to deliver a really good, very unanimously liked first season, that when delivering on one of the most beloved things in the franchise for season 2, that they're not going to like put it on the back burner, turn it into just a big ruin, unless they go with an ending where it makes sense for New Vegas to have been fucked up. If they go with an ending for New Vegas where it was like, yeah, I guess New Vegas would have been destroyed in the fallout of that, then I can accept it. But I hope that's not where they go. He seems to want that to be where it goes, so people get mad and don't like season 2.
Great. All of our choices, complete waste of time. Now, I'm sure people will find a way to spin this as a good thing, actually. But no, it isn't. There's literally no reason they had to do this. This is spitting in your fucking face. This is shitting in your food in front.
All of this he's saying about something he's just assuming about a season of television that isn't out for months.
Of you, and you're gonna eat it and you're gonna like it. Why? Your favorite YouTuber will tell you this is a good show, and
that's right, you're gonna watch it and you're gonna like it because I told you to. Damn right.
Gonna like it because you're an idiot. Whatever, I'm vague rambling again because again this trailer isn't that interesting. We get some flashbacks.
Look at that shit, dude. That doesn't even look like Fallout. That doesn't even look like the Tops. That doesn't even look exactly like the Lucky 38.
I'm vague rambling again because, again, this trailer isn't that interesting. We get some flashbacks. As it turns out, Walton Goggins was summoned by Mr. House himself. Just some random asshole actor was important enough to meet Elon Musk or Bill Gates.
He is the Fallout Vault Boy guy. Also, he was Clint... Okay. I don't know how good your media literacy is. You are a chud, and... by extension, a complete fucking troglodyte retard. However, it has been heavily implied that Walton Goggins' character was the Clint Eastwood of this world. That he is a household name and everyone knows his name. Like, it would be like saying, oh my god, how does literally Elon Musk, how does he have a connection to Trump? What do you mean? Because he's famous as fuck. Everyone knows who he is. When you're a certain level of famous and you've got a certain level of clout, you can meet anybody you want. Yeah, that's how that works. This dude is implied to be the Clint Eastwood of this world. I don't know if you know how famous Clint Eastwood is and was, but that's pretty fucking famous.
Or whoever you want to compare Mr. House to. We also see that Victor is still alive somehow, so I guess that means Mr. House has survived in this version of the Fallout.
I like the implication, by the way, that Synthetic Man believes that Clint Eastwood could not get a meeting with Elon Musk. You really think that if Clint Eastwood tweeted, I really like Elon Musk, I want to do an interview with him, that Elon would not be like fangirling and arranging that immediately? That is the most believable thing. How are we nitpicking a show this hard? Come on. Celebrity meets important millionaire is unbelievable.
Outlaw that is now canceled.
That's literally what the Epstein scandal was. Celebrities meeting up with random billionaire. And then very shady shit happened. This is not unrealistic, bro. Come on, you're reaching.
canon forever. I don't know if that means the Mr. House ending is canon and somehow everything went to shit. Who the hell knows? I'll be honest, I don't care that much. We also see
It's implied that the Mr. House ending isn't canon because, like, or maybe it is. Who knows? I'm really curious to see where they go with it. I love to be a chud. You have to be this like nihilistic, angry, like anyone who likes anything is a shill or like a slop consumer. Meanwhile, like this guy uploads pure slop and consumes nothing but slop, and gets mad when anything with actual heart and like passion put into it gets made and is liked because it has minorities in it. Let's read the comments and see what the consensus is in his replies. My grandma used to tell me, I do not care what they tell you in school. Caesar's Legion was led by a black woman. Golems never change. I can't wait for my heckin' beloved Deathclaw from Fallout 4 turn to the camera and say, capitalism bad, it's gonna be lit. New Vegas was promised to them. Yeah, a lot of references to the Jews if you're not picking up on it. Like the three of those last four comments were references to anti-Semitic talking points. I can't wait for Critical Drinker to backpedal on this show like he does with every other woke crap. Critical Drinker isn't far right enough for these people, I guess. Dude, I'm so hyped when Bug Eye will say, I guess they call Lucy Bug Eye. When Bug Eye will say, I hate Deathclaw, and she will awkwardly say, it's behind me, isn't it? Absolutely cinema. Can't wait for Chris Avalone to be on Chudcast. All right, yeah. Well, we've went ahead and submersed ourselves into the sea of slop, and we came out of it alive. So with all that said, let's hope that we don't have to watch another Synthetic Man video for a while. I really hope his channel is just non-existent by the time Season 2 comes out. I do not want to have to cover this guy's review of the second season. But I bet I'm gonna have to, aren't I? Anyway, folks, if you enjoyed this video, if you found it entertaining, educational, or enjoyable in any way, then please consider leaving a like and a comment. In fact, I challenge you guys to see if you can get this video to 1,000 likes in 24 hours. I know you can do it. You've done it before on past videos, but I'm curious to see how consistently you can keep to the challenge. YouTube's algorithm will treat the channel in kind if you do so, and I want to see if you guys can pull it off. 1,000 likes, 500 comments. Let's see if you guys can do it. And of course, if you want to see more from me in the future, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell icon to turn on all notifications so YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload new videos in the future. And of course, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, be sure to follow my social medias linked down below in the description, particularly my fan Discord. I recommend you join as I host weekly gaming events, call-in streams, watch parties, or movie nights there, and I announce all my new uploads and streams there too, so you won't miss a thing if you join. Highly recommend it. And finally, if you want to support me directly, financially, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio. And of course, you know that I am a full-time content creator despite being a small one, so your direct support is what lets me do this for a living, and I appreciate it immensely. Thank you to everyone who donates, subscribes, or gifts a sub on my website, or supports me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, StreamElements, Patreon, or buys some merch through the Streamlabs link down below in the description. Regardless of how you support me, though, thank you all so much for watching, as always, and have a good one.